Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We are back with another game review. Today we are reviewing Monster Hunter Wilds. This video is going to be a little bit different than the reviews I typically do. The previous reviews have been a little scripted and me having lots of cuts, but this is going to be just me off the cuff, shooting the shit with you guys and just talking about what I liked and what I disliked and giving a final verdict at the end. If you enjoyed this format, please let me know in the comment section down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let's get to it, and we're first going to talk about the story. I'll be honest, the story for Monster Hunter Wilds, it's not great. It's not good by any means. I really didn't particularly like any of the characters. I thought Alma was just okay. I thought Gemma was pretty all right. I liked her for the most part. It was definitely a good reason to go back to the base camp just to see her, because she's just a gorgeous person, a gorgeous game designed character. I'm kind of droning on a little bit too long about this, but that's okay. But Nata, I really want to preface, I hate this guy. I hate him with a fiery passion. He is just so annoying. There are multiple times where I just wanted to leave him behind and just do what we needed to do. But it is what it is. Yeah, the story, not very memorable. I don't remember a lot of it. It just kind of just didn't stick with me whatsoever. So it is what it is there. But let's talk about the combat next. So the combat, I liked it. There are so many different options. I mainly stuck with the twin blades and the greatsword, and I had a fantastic time, especially with the greatsword. That's what I use for a majority of my playthrough, and I really like the greatsword. But there are a ton of options: bow and arrow, the gun blade, the lance. I think there's a gun lance too. There's a hammer. There's just a ton of variety for a whole bunch of different play styles, and I think that is what is the point of this game. It's to hunt monsters, and the combat is supposed to be freaking awesome, and I think they do that exceptionally well here. My previous experience with Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter Worlds, and I played it for about 3 to 4 hours, and I just really couldn't get a grasp on it, and I couldn't find the will to keep going. Monster Hunter Wilds kept me interested, but it also kept me interested because I was able to play the multiplayer with my friends, and I think that's the best part of this game, getting into monster hunts with your friends and just, you have such OP weapons and you are just hitting the shit out of these guys. And they introduced, from what I heard, they introduced a new mechanic where you can mount the beasts. I think that's fantastic. I loved it. It's such a cool cinematic thing, and I really, really enjoyed it. But I think the thing that the game really struggles with is just how absolutely dog shit the UI is. It should never be that difficult for me to have to invite my friends to play a game together. I think we look at games like Destiny. I think Destiny does it phenomenally. How you have a fire team of 3 and you can go do whatever you want anytime you want, and it's good. And I really like that. And I think if the Monster Hunter development team can do that, if they can take this idea that they have but just make the UI significantly better, I think this game is going to be 10 out of 10 a majority of the time, in terms of the player interaction and the player desire to continue playing this game. Next, I did want to mention the music, because I think the music is absolutely phenomenal. There are so many boss fights in this game, because that's exactly what this is. It's a boss fight simulator. There are so many bosses to fight, and it's done extremely well. So the bosses, when you get into the fights, the music starts to swell. There's so many good moments, and it just feels like an actual epic movie that I'm fighting these damn monsters and I'm kicking their ass. And it feels so good, and I really, really enjoyed that. Especially the final boss of the main story. It was phenomenal to fight. Just hearing that music, it was swelling in my ears, and I was just having a damn good time hunting monsters and just kicking ass, and I just felt like a badass. Especially the way my character looked. He looked like sort of like an anime character, and I really, really just dug that, and I loved it, and I loved just playing this game. I thought it was such a fun time. But I will say, the gameplay does get very repetitive very quickly, and if you're not interested in the repetitive formula that they have in this game, you might struggle to continue playing this game. And that's exactly how I felt going into the post game, or the high rank is what they try to call it. I don't really care for that. And as I was playing it and just seeing how many repeat monsters there were, I was just so disappointed. Just so disappointed with what the post game was doing. It just did not fit cohesively with the way I wanted it to be. I wanted just more different bosses. I feel like as soon as you start the post game, or the high rank, there's just multiple dragons in every single area, but they all are just different variations of the same thing. And I really didn't dig with that. So it kind of soured my playthrough near the end to the point where I didn't really finish the post game because I just didn't have the desire to continue anymore. I felt like I got my enjoyment out of this game, and I don't really care for the non-stop loot grind that is this game. It just didn't fit with me. But that's my opinion, and that's what makes video games amazing. Because my friend Chad, love him to death. He loves this. He loves the formula of grinding, getting that gear, and just equipping the coolest shit and just playing through the game. And for me, that's just not it. That's just not how I like to play the game. I like to continue a good story and just enjoy my playthrough. But I'm not saying I didn't enjoy my playthrough. It just wore out its welcome for sure. So I did also want to mention, I think the bosses, though. I think the bosses are fucking phenomenal in this game, and I would not trade the bosses in this game for almost any other bosses besides like Dark Souls and Elden Ring and that sort of shit, because those bosses are phenomenal in it in themselves. I think that's how it's said. Anyway, but I think the bosses are so good. Like I already mentioned, the final boss of the main story is fan-fucking-tastic. It's so cool just to see how big and menacing they are, and having multiple forms, and it truly just felt like an Elden Ring boss to me, just because of how many different iterations of one boss there was. Like he would transform and get new abilities, and I thought it was so badass. But like I said, I think there are certain times where the game comes to a standstill because of the story and because of how much hand-holding there is in the game. And I just really did not jive with that. And I really wish the game didn't hold my hand as much. And I spoke to my friend Chad about this as well, and he said that that was probably one of his biggest gripes as well. So I don't think I'm alone in that one, but I just wish that was a little bit different. Next, I do want to talk about the bugs in the game. I think the bugs in this game are a little annoying as hell. There was multiple times where I would tell my creature that I was riding to take me to where I needed to go, and he would beeline to it, but I wasn't able to go a certain way because the game has such a hand-holdy mentality of where you can go and what you can do, and it really sucks. It really sucks, and I really did not like that part. But it is what it is. But because of that, the bugs happened, and I could not get off my mount. I couldn't reset where I was, and the game would just auto-teleport me away. How is that a mechanic? I really don't understand that, and I just wish you just stop holding my hand, game. Oh, and another bug that really pissed me off was I was fighting one of the creatures, and it's intentionally set up where you need to throw dung bombs or whatever the hell they're called at its brethren in order to get them to disperse so you can fight one of them solo. When I tell you I threw 15 dungs at these creatures and just trying to get any of them to fuck off. And guess what? None of them did. And I had to, it was a 3v1, but guess what? I'm a god, you know? I'm so good at this game by this point. I dealt with it, and I was able to do it. I think this game has a very clear formula on how to cheese it. And as soon as I figured it out, it was kind of the only method that I had figured out to do it, to progress in this game. And I think that's what I do with games like Elden Ring, games that have like a certain difficulty curve. As soon as I find the method that works, that's the method I've chosen. And I think this game is, if you jump on the back of your mount, whenever you're in danger, anytime you get knocked to the ground, your mount will pick you up faster than you can get up yourself. You can swap weapons, you can do whatever you want, you can heal, you can back up, you can just fuck off for a little bit and then return to fight the monster. And I thought it was kind of a little bit of a cheese, you know? But that's the method that I found, and for the most part, I enjoyed it because it felt like a natural thing for me. Next, I do want to talk about the post-game a little bit. As I mentioned it before, just the bosses really weren't it for me, to the point where I kind of stopped playing the post-game, and I just did not have any desire to continue, which is kind of a bummer, but you need more monsters, and you need just a little bit more to keep me enticed, and I just did not feel it in the post-game. I'm not saying the game's bad by any means, or that the post-game's bad, but it just did not keep me interested whatsoever, and it kind of ended my playthrough abruptly. So how does this stack against other adventure games? I think this game is a solid game, and I think if you like Monster Hunter, I would imagine you would like this game, even though I think this game is a tad bit easy. So I would definitely recommend it if you're a Monster Hunter fan, and if you're looking for an adventure game where you can hack and slash, fight, have a multitude of different weapon options, so much customization. You can customize your mount, your character, all of your armor, and even in the post game, you can customize the color of your armor. So it is such a fresh take, and I think it's such a breath of fresh air, and I really, really enjoyed that part. I think the main thing I need to ask myself now is, did this make me a Monster Hunter fan? Will this make me return to Monster Hunter whenever the next iteration comes out? I think it does. I think those moments of fighting those epic boss battles and having those interactions with those bosses and playing with your friends, I think that is exactly what this game is supposed to do. And it definitely has quite a few issues, as I've mentioned, but I don't think the game is bad by any means. And when you hear my final verdict, I want you to remember that. I don't think the game's bad. I just think the game has a lot to improve on in the UI, in the story, and in the pacing. And that is exactly why I think Monster Hunter Wilds deserves a 7.5 out of 10. I don't think the game is bad by any means. A 7.5 for me really means the game is good, but there are quite a few improvements that could make this game an 8 or higher. So I'm hoping we get something like that whenever they decide to make the next Monster Hunter game. What did you think of Monster Hunter Wilds? Let me know in the comment section down below. I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.